Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to 60 and Me. This is a place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest today is Lori La Bey. Lori is an advocate for the discussion around dementia and Alzheimer's. She spent 30 years of her life with her mother who suffered from dementia, and she's been doing so much in the world to sort of educate and change the conversation about becoming more dementia friendly. So welcome to the show, Lori. It's great to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be with you, Margaret.
It's really cool. The reason I mentioned your mother, I hope you don't mind me mentioning that, is that it gave you a very special and unique understanding of the support that's needed for somebody with dementia and for caregivers who are, looking for some help. And I wanted to take this opportunity for you to share with us, some of the resources that are there and available, support groups for people to take advantage of. So that they can not feel they're so alone on this journey.
Well, I think this is a really exciting topic because it's really changed. My mom had dementia for 30 years. She's been gone for 2 now. And when we first got into this, the only support groups out there were really for the care partner. Mm-hmm. They really weren't for the person with dementia. And now that has expanded greatly. So one of my favorite support groups I'm going to mention is called the Memory Cafe. Uh-huh. And that actually started over in the UK. And I learned about that through Norm's McNamara, who is living with Lewy body over there. And I was so excited about these groups because it brought the person with dementia and their care partner together to come to this group. And basically it pulls people together because of the disease, but the disease takes a back seat. And so I tell people it's like a bowling league or a bridge club. You don't show up for the equipment, you show up for the camaraderie. Yeah. And everybody gets to be who they are. And so couples get to have a circle of friends that understand the disease. There's no embarrassment no matter what happens. Everybody understands. They share stories, but more important, they share all of who each of them are. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's not just about getting together to, bitch and complain about the disease and, oh, woe is me, or, we had a bad night. I mean, they celebrate birthdays and holidays, and, they talk about deaths and illness and car accidents and in life, their grandchildren, their pets, their everything. And every time we get together, we all introduce ourselves, so no one's ever embarrassed of not remembering. And even, for me, we can still go around the table, and I still might not remember everybody's name. I've just never been good at that, ever.
Me too.
And so it's a nice reminder. And then they talk about, we always talk about bummers and blessings in a kind of informal way, but bummers are what maybe hasn't gone so right in the last 2 weeks, and then what are they thankful for? Because even That's with right. disease, there are so many gifts that we should be thankful for. And sharing that, it's an opportunity for people to bring books and resources in that they've found and shared. It's an opportunity for people to share stories. I'll never forget the time, and I have permission to share this story, where a woman said, we had a rough night last night. She said, we went to go to bed, and Bernie gave me this big hug, and he said, you're a really nice lady, but you have to leave because I'm married.
Wow.
And his wife, Mary Ann, was just so taken back, needless to say. And the whole group's like, what'd you do? What'd you do? And she said, I left and I went into the guest room, and she said, and I went to sleep. And she said, no, I didn't. She said, I stayed up all night praying that in the morning he would know who I was. She said, though I went to bed knowing how much he loved me, even though he didn't recognize me.
He wouldn't cheat on her.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, are these meetings that you get together in a group of how many? 10 people? 12? I mean, is it smaller than that, or?
Yeah, the ideal is between like 11 and 15, but some of our groups have grown as big as 20 and 30, and they ebb and they flow. Right now we have 3 that all meet at the same time, and they're popping up all over the world now, and they're the cool thing is that everybody again wants this bed in a bag, give me the criteria, how do I do it? And it's like, that's not how you live your life. That's not how you get together with friends. It's not about an agenda. And initially we thought we'd do some programming and then we'd have kind of chit chat. And what we found was that they want the chit chat. They just want to develop friendships. With that story I just shared, the amazing thing was that everybody around the table then shared their own story. And they all said, we've never shared that with anybody before. We've never told anybody that was an issue for us.
It took it to another level. It took it down a deeper level.
Oh,
Yeah,
because they're not talking about the weather in sports. They're talking about real life and all the emotions that go with it. So they're very powerful. They don't need to be costly. Most of us here in the U.S., because we don't have funding for these, where other countries do have some funding, we just get people who are like-minded who want to make a difference. And so companies are saying, like Arthur's Residential is who I approached, and they have just been so gracious. They give us the space, they give us the treat, they help with other facilitators. I couldn't ask for a more perfect partner.
It's wonderful. Now, you mentioned that they're around the world, Lori. Is there a website that people could check out?
Yeah, if you go to alzheimerspeaks.com and then go to initiatives and projects, there'll be a tab for memory cafes, memory and Alzheimer's cafes. And if you scroll down, I have some of them tracked, but to be honest, in my resource directory, it does not do as well as the one that will be there. And there'll be a big map. And it's just, for that, it's for the U.S., but there's also another link there that will give you for other areas around the world to be able to track them. But in the U.S., it's actually a company called Calendar Cards that has now devoted their time to putting these in, and it's really it's the best source to find a memory cafe here in the U.S. But around the world, there's another link on that page as well that will direct you there.
And are most of the people who attend these memory cafes sort of far along on the Alzheimer's dementia spectrum, or are they, in that 4 and 5 level, or?
Yeah, most of them are, it really varies. I would say early stage to mid stage, because as they're further along, then they really can't participate in a group.
Exactly.
And so one of the misnomers, though, is what, like one organization wanted me to test everybody to see, where they fit in the disease category. And I said, I'm not going to do that because they might have a bad day the day we test them.
Exactly.
And so we've had people that have had trouble, part of their dementia is they have trouble speaking. And so we would clap when somebody could just get their name out and introduce themselves. But they are totally following the conversation, and they are thrilled just to be sitting next to their spouse. We had one man who used to be a deacon in his church, used to speak a lot, and now he just did gestures, and he would be like, and he would just add so much joy to the conversation through his gestures.
That's really cool. So that's memory cafes, Lori. So what other ones you mentioned? There might be some others that we would like to know about. I mean, obviously there's yours. You might want to talk about Alzheimer's Speaks and what you've got on your website, because it's amazing.
Yeah, well, we have the dementia chats where we interview people with dementia, and those are free videos that people can watch anytime, and they give just wonderful insights. We do the radio show where we interview a little bit of everyone. One of the groups I'd really like to mention, though, is called Dementia Mentors. And this is fantastic for anybody who is thinking maybe they have dementia or has been diagnosed, is to hook up with them and get a buddy who's heard those words. And they just do amazing work together, and they do video conferencing. And so you might have somebody in the U.S. might be your mentor, and you might be over in Sweden, or you might be in Indonesia or whatever. But they're sharing stories, and they're helping people understand the disease and how to stay socially connected. And which is really powerful. There's another group called Dementia Alliance International, DAI, and they do similar things, and both of them also do virtual memory cafes. And so and so because one of the problems for care partners is that they can't always leave the house, but same with a person with dementia. And both of these, typically, I believe their groups are for people with dementia only. And so the care partner can help get them set up on the computer if they need assistance.
And then let them be,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
and to
really
be able
cool.
to interact. Then on Facebook, there's tons of groups. So if you want to learn more about Lewy body, just put in Lewy body, and you'll get connected to people you can have a conversation with. There's Forget Me Nots, which is run by Harry Urban, who is a man who has dementia, and I just marvel at him because he was one of the founding members of Dementia Mentors as well. But he's just a troubleshooter, and he has a
That's
lot of
great.
subgroups within his groups. Like he had a lot of people who spoke Spanish and said, we'd love to participate in something like this, but we don't understand English. So here he's like, well, I'm going to make a group up, and we're just going to get we're going to make it. We'll get a translation bar so that they can communicate. Now, this is from a man who has dementia, and he's been living with it for 12 years.
Wow.
So people have to understand that this isn't necessarily a quick disease, and supports are critical for people. If you're a care partner, put in care partner, put in elder care, put in dementia, Alzheimer's, your disease, if it's vascular, frontal temporal lobe, whatever it might be, put it in. Information will pop up with people that you can connect. And keep in mind when you're online, though, it's like anything else. It might not fit you, and it's okay to step back. You have to feel comfortable, and if you're not feeling comfortable, then step back.
And I think a lot of times, it doesn't match your personality, or we talked about earlier, values. I think if you are your whole person, you are unique, and you've got your own life experiences that brought you to this disease, and you are going to only want to do the things that you feel comfortable with. So it sounds like there's a spectrum of a wide range of opportunities though now. And I think Facebook's a really great option too, because you can have conversations and sort of anonymously. You can talk about things no one knows you really. It can just be. In fact, we have a lot of really deep conversation on our Facebook page. I think it's like create a safe place, and then people can come at the level that they're ready. The level they want to share, and it's good.
And depending on how the Facebook page is created, some of them are private, so information will never leave. Others are public. So you have to find those things out, as well in advance. The other thing that I want to caution people about, though, and warn them, both who are care partners or just people interested in the disease as well as those with the disease, is I'm sad to say so many times people with dementia are attacked by others, people telling them that they can't have the disease. And there's this battleground that can occur. And it just saddens me because dementia looks different in every single case. And so, my mom's dementia might look very different from somebody that but that doesn't make it any less of a disease for the person going through it. And so I think in all communications, we've got to be respectful. Speak our opinions is fine, but, don't put somebody else down. But instead, post questions to learn more as to why.
Yeah. So when you said that people saying that they can't have it, you mean based on how articulate they are, or what they're describing that you can't have Alzheimer's? Wow. Yeah.
They're actually bullied, and
People
it can get very severe out there at times. The cool part about it is that everybody has typically a large group to protect them and to lift them up.
Stand up for them, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned quite a few, and I know we're going to put the links for all of them. And are they all on your site? Could we put that one place for people to find?
They're not all on my site.
We'll make a list then.
Yeah. I'll get those links to you.
Yeah, that's really precious to have those. Yeah, so because I think that many people, I didn't know about them at all, and it just occurred to me as you were talking, and I was just dwelling on the community of 60andMe. We must have women in our community who have got Alzheimer's or dementia, who have got early stages. But the funny thing is, Lori, I don't remember ever anyone saying that or admitting it. And
part of it is it's a safety issue.
Yes.
How will I be looked at differently? Exactly. And so when you join these groups, you already know it's okay.
Yeah.
When you go to a memory cafe, people come in sometimes resistant, and then they can't wait to come back.
Yeah.
Because it's safe and it's fun. Can I mention 2 books too?
Yes,
that I think,
of course, please do.
That people rave about. Yeah. One is by Mara Botanis, and it's called When Caring Takes Courage. And it's just a beautiful book with, I think, lessons on just care in general, but dementia specific.
Wow.
And the other one is Surviving Alzheimer's by Paula Spencer Scott. And that is just an incredible book as well. They're easy reads. You can go back and reference them. They share stories, but they give specifics. And they're both about building toolkits to move forward with the disease cautiously.
I think that's really important to have practical things that you can do, that are real world, that are not academic and abstract, that they're actually practical human things you can do. We'll put both of those books. They do sound wonderful. And of course, your site, Alzheimer Speaks, is always a good home base if you want to go there and just, feel like you can start there and learn. And of course, we'll put all this information in the article. Is there anything we've missed? I wanted to make sure with this particular interview, we had lots of time to share all the resources that are available.
Yeah, I think there's other things that they'll be able to find once they just knowing that Facebook is an option. There are so many groups out there. I mean, so many subgroups within groups, and you will make significant connections because, again, you're not talking about the weather and you're not talking about sports. And so one of the things that was really poo-pooed, I would say 5 years ago, was that these aren't real relationships. And I'm here to tell you they will be very significant relationships in your life. That I hear that over and over and over. And there are some people that say, well, I'm just kind of a voyeur. I want to see what the group's like. I'm going to read the comments. and they're learning from that. And then all of a sudden one day they'll be brave enough to make a comment. And they'll even say, I've been here 2 years and I haven't felt comfortable, but I do now. Yeah, and so I want to make a comment. And for others, they'll jump in right away. So there's no right or wrong way.
Well, what I love about what you're doing is you're giving people a voice, and you're giving them lots of opportunities to talk about this and to actually engage in the real world. And I think that's so important with all diseases, but Alzheimer's particularly, because as you've said, it takes years sometimes. It has a kind of a shadowy side to it that you can't really define what the problem is, or just by looking at the symptoms, how serious it is. So I think it's really important to have people to bounce ideas off of and share.
Yeah, there are other groups too, like the Alzheimer's Association, the Alzheimer's Society will have groups too. I don't want to forget mentioning them. And then a lot of around the countries, there's a lot of grassroots and organized groups popping up with different types of things to be able to participate in as well. So, you're going to hear and see more about dementia friendly. And if you just even tune into those words, dementia friendly, yeah. Yeah, you'll be amazed at what you find and how often you're finding information pop up.
Well, I love chatting with you, so we're going to have to get you back in another year and get caught up, because we could talk next week and there'd be something new to talk about. But we'll stay in touch, because I think what you're doing is amazing, Lori. It's really valuable, and I'm just so grateful that you've taken the time to share all that. And if you think of any after we've hung up, because you probably will, just send me the links and I'll include them in the article.
You know what? I just thought of one
other thing. It.
Okay. It's a brand new group. It's called the Dementia Caregiver Reentry Program. And this is for people who are care partners. And we use the word caregiver because that's still what most people use as a word. But it's for people who have been on the journey for a significant period of time, or are in kind of the end stages, or maybe have already lost somebody. And the challenge that they have during this period is, who am I? So if, let's say they have to now place their person in a day placement, or maybe they have to place them someplace else to live, or maybe they've lost the ability to drive or do finances. Any of those things are huge losses. And the care partner has to really figure out again, who are they?
Yeah, that's
huge. And sometimes they'll have extra time. Maybe they'll have home health come in and they've got 4 hours and they don't even know what they like to do anymore. So it's about having those discussions of finding yourself again and moving through the grief and the loss, and celebrating the new you.
That sounds like a fabulous group. It's a group, or was it a book?
Yep, it's a group.
It's a group.
Launched listed here in Roseville, Minnesota. There's no groups anywhere else, but if anyone is interested in starting one, just get a hold of me, because we've had a lot of interest around the world, people wanting to know more about this group, because it's just another phase to be dealt with.
It's so personal. I mean, it must be. Well, you went through this, of course, when your mom passed away. Is that you for all those years you were defined in a certain role, and then you must have gone through that personally. So I think that's I think that's an important stage, because you've got years of your life left to reinvent yourself and enjoy your life. And questioning what you do is a big step.
Yeah, I actually went through it when my dad passed away first. And for a year, I said, I'm going to start traveling once a month. I'm going to start taking different courses. I had not a clue who I was. I just had such a void. And so when my mom died, several years later, I was a little more prepared for that. But you're still never prepared for that void. And how do you fill it? Yeah. And again, part of it is just being able to have the conversation that there is a void. Yeah. And grief counseling doesn't help fill that void. It helps you understand the process. But care partners say all the time, because we did a pilot program on this, they said, we don't want it to be an 8-week program like a grief class, because then we're right back to where we were. We want it to be like a memory cafe where we're meeting new people and exploring new things.
Fantastic. Well, good luck with that. It sounds like a really great initiative. Starting another wonderful thing, Lori. Well, look, it's been really great talking with you on this topic. And anytime that new things come up, just send me the details and I can always add them to the article. It can become a live document online. So thanks again for your time and your amazing work you're doing.
Thank you, and keep up your work. I'm just so impressed at how large your audience has gotten. That's wonderful.
It's a large group, and they're engaged. They are talking and they share and making friends, and it's all the things you've talked about too, that social engagement. It's we're pretty happy with our community. We love our women, and we love you too, Lori. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our 60andMe YouTube channel and also visit our website. We are a strong and dynamic community of women over 60. We're challenging aging stereotypes, and every day we share fascinating stories, interesting questions, and great conversation.